Well, this is an unfortunate situation to be in. Second year in a row, the Eagles are facing controversy, taking hits on the day of the big game. Obviously, last year was different, much different. They were playing in the game. This time, they're sitting at home on the couch, and they're still taking hits, man. This season is tough. They are facing a very tough decision. Sound off in the comments. Give me your thoughts down below. Welcome in A to Z Philly. We're not even going with the full intro. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Give me your thoughts in the comments. What do they do? Did they trade Haason Reddick? We will break all of it down. Before I do that, let me give a shout out to our sponsor of today's show, because today is the big game, and the biggest winner in the big game this year could be you. Thanks to BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, is offering new customers a chance to score $158 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, instantly. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up with our bonus code ATOZPA200. Then place a $5 moneyline wager on either team. You will receive $158 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. So do not miss your opportunity to cross the goal line on the money line this year as pro football's top teams clash for the chip. Bring the big game excitement to you with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 plus only, Pennsylvania only, new customer offer. All right, man, let's talk about this crappy situation. Last year was the whole JG thing, the whole Gannon rumors and all that. It was frustrating. It was annoying, but you had to focus on the big game. And here you are, and this is all we can think about. Coming out of the news world this morning, this afternoon, Eagles All-Pro edge rusher Haason Reddick has received permission to seek a trade following another disruptive season featuring double-digit sacks. The 29-year-old with 27 sacks over the past 2 years in Philly could land elsewhere. And matter of fact, I could argue he should have more, especially after this collapse of a season this year with Sean Desai and Matt Patricia. They're dropping him back in coverage. He probably could have had another 15-sack year. That's how good this guy has been. But you are in a tough situation. A lot of Eagle fans are, so furious this morning. They're not really looking at this situation and thinking about why it came about. Really, it comes down to, do you want to trust in your youth, or do you want to pay the guy big dollars and hope and pray that he can continue to do what he has been doing at that production value? And it's almost like the Eagles faced this situation years ago, right? And Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie, they, decided to extend some of their older vets, which was the wrong decision at the time. And maybe they don't want to make similar mistakes. But I have a little bit of a differing opinion on this one. However, here's what Thomas Peterson says. Haason Reddick is definitely worth a much bigger contract than he's currently playing at. Eagles likely can't match his market value, so giving him a chance to seek his value is very respectful, although a bit of a tough situation for fans. Now, again, I do want to say, he's seeking permission for a trade. That does not mean that he's going to get traded. It means that his agent's going to go fishing around, bring in some offers, try to see what the market is out there. And if there's another team that's willing to pay him for more years and the money that he wants, then they might be able to do a deal. But it still has to make sense for the Eagles. Where this is tough is that Haason Reddick has been one of the best players at his position, in prior years. And I feel like a couple years ago, or even back in 2018, when the Eagles decided to go the route they did, I feel like, it was more of the players that have been around in Philadelphia for oh so long, and they've been lifelong Eagles, and they didn't want to kind of pull away from that. And again, I understand, and we have all learned over the past several years, like, sometimes the emotions do pull at the heartstrings a bit. Sometimes you don't want to see these guys go because they have built so much here in Philly and things like that. My objective here with the Eagles is you need to bring back one of the best players at the position. It's not like he's fallen off or anything like that. So I understand the business kind of intertwines with the sports side of it. But I mean, to me, it's a pretty easy decision. Maybe you want to try to, project the decline before it happens. But I mean, we have not seen any signs of it. I know he's getting up there. He's 29 years old. But as it says here, Brendan Deeg, Haason Reddick is 4th in sacks over the last 4 years. But he's only the 18th highest paid edge rusher behind guys like Shaquille Barrett, Von Miller, and Harold Landry. He 100% deserves a raise, but the Eagles cannot afford $25 million for 29-year-old Haason Reddick. And that's what happens when you have to pay your quarterback, and it gets tougher to maneuver and try to pay some of your top playmakers. And that's why it's always a tough situation. And you want to win early in the tenure of your quarterbacks. But, again, I know they have a lot of guys to pay. I know Smitty and all these other guys are coming up. But, Haason Reddick has done nothing but ball out. And this guy, over the last, 4 years, he continues to be on prove-it deals. And he continues to prove it every single time. Whether it's with Arizona, where he was drafted and looked like a bust and came back and he switched positions and he was, rejuvenated as a player. And then he went to Carolina and proved it. And then he came to Philly and helped him go to the big game last year. So, look, man, at the end of the day, Haason Reddick, still has a lot left in the tank, in my opinion. Maybe they want to bank on guys like Nolan Smith and others. Maybe they draft a guy, but looking at the depth chart here, and I know it's not fully updated, but I mean, are you only just going to trust in Josh Sweat? Like maybe, you have to decide between one or the other, but both those guys make a really good tandem, in my opinion. And I just don't know if I'm ready to just fully rock with a guy like Nolan Smith. And, maybe they're thinking about it scheme wise when it comes down to Vic Fangio, and maybe Reddick doesn't want to start dropping back into coverage every play. I don't know, man, but it really just is a tough situation for one of your best playmakers in general. And Zach Burman, who also covers the team, says here, there's no spin when it comes to Reddick. He's an elite player at a premium position. Since moving to edge rusher in 2020, he has had double-digit sacks every single season. The only players with more during that period are TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and Trey Hendrickson, who are some of the best in the game. So, yeah, man, you have to kind of cut at certain spots and try to figure out what are the most important positions to pay. Are you willing to go and pay a premium for Haason Reddick, or can you find another guy who can give you somewhat the kind of production value that he is putting forth? But Zach says, want to talk age. He's the same age as those other guys we just mentioned, Watt, Hendrickson, even Chris Jones. Hard to rationalize moving on from that type of production. Want to talk scheme? If you can't find a role, the problem is your scheme, not Reddick. Exactly. And that's what I said earlier, man. This guy could have had 15 sacks the last couple years. Great at tackling for loss, great at getting in the backfield. I mean, he's done everything you asked him to do. So, yeah, I do believe he deserves a pay raise. And it says here, durability. He's only missed one game in 7 seasons. And that, usually comes down to being a big determinant of whether you want to pay a guy or not. And he has been on the field. Now, Zach ends with this. He says, my understanding is that the Eagles would only move Reddick if it makes sense, both with the compensation and if their cap objectives cannot be achieved with a new deal. Now, keep in mind, Howie Roseman will find a way. If there is a way, he will find a way to make this work and move money around to different years and, convert some of it to bonuses, whatever it is. If there is a way, Howie's going to find a way, just like he did with Big Play Slay last year. But when you look at guys like Big Play Slay and James Bradbury and Haason Reddick, is it smarter to move in a direction of youth and bank in on that? Or do you still think these guys have another run in them and they can get back and be solid, deep playoff contenders? I think that's the question you need to ask yourself. And he says, this is not a fire sale. Eagles are letting him explore the market to see if there is a situation that makes sense with those considerations. And this has happened before. I wouldn't really take it personally at Haason Reddick. I mean, the guy's from here. He's from Camden. He grew up here. He went to Haddon Heights, and he was so thrilled to come back to Philadelphia. If there's any place he wants to keep playing in his career, it is Philadelphia. I don't think he wants this. I think he's just looking at the best situation for him and his family, and I respect that 100%. I have no issues with Haason Reddick here. He says it's pretty clear that there's going to need to be a new deal, whether elsewhere or in Philly. The alternative is an unhappy player, which won't benefit either side. So, yeah, man, you definitely don't want to have the bridges go up and burn and then, he's here and kind of half playing, half not, and he wants to be moved. You don't want that. So there needs to be a resolution here. If it was up to me, I would find a way to keep him because I think he's one of your most dynamic playmakers and the production's there. I have not seen any sign of decline, but maybe you feel different. Maybe you feel different, so sound off in the comments. Give me your thoughts down below. Should the Philadelphia Eagles trade Haason Reddick and go in a different direction and try to get a lot of value back? Or should they make the tough decision and swallow the pill and take the hit on the cap? So give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Hopefully we'll see a good game today and the Eagles can get this worked out before they head deeper into the offseason. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Like, comment, subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.